Surprise to everybody in the league that the New Orleans Saints are 0-4 at this point. I do believe this game on Sunday night at home against the San Diego Chargers is their last stand. If they have any hope of turning around this season and making something positive out of it, even though it's still going to be tough, even if they win this game at 1-4, I mean, that's quite a hole, but we've seen in past years, this Saints team, once they get on a roll, they can rattle off 8, 9, 10 wins in a row. But if they lose this Sunday to the Chargers, and they very well could. I mean, the Chargers 3-1 on the year. It's not often you see a team that's 3-1 playing a team that is winless 0-4, and the winless team is actually favored. That is the case here. Saints a 3.5-point favorite in this game on BETDAQ, 52.5 the total. That total feels a little low to me. Neither one of these defenses, I know San Diego's defense has played better this year, but they're better in the front seven than they are in the back end, and we know the Saints love to throw the ball. I don't expect that Chargers defense to pose much of a problem to this New Orleans offense. Which New Orleans Saints team are we going to see? Are we going to see the team that melted down at home in their last home game anyway, against Kansas City Chiefs? Or are we going to see the team that went up to Lambeau Field last week and gave the Packers all they could handle? Saints really should have won that game. You know, when you hear Drew Brees talk this week, it's very convincing. It almost convinced me. I mean, heard him talk about what a huge game this is for the Saints, how he still feels like they can turn this season around. He still feels like they're going to be a great team by season's end. We know this is a big game for Brees individually. He will break Johnny Unitas' record. If he throws a touchdown pass in this game, it'll be his 48th straight game with a touchdown pass. That will break Johnny Unitas' record, which stood for almost 50 years. Because of the momentous occasion, Roger Goodell, NFL Commissioner, has allowed suspended Saints coach Sean Payton, suspended General Manager Mickey Loomis, and suspended interim coach Joe Vitt to all be in attendance in this game. They won't be able to talk to the Saints or anything pre-game. Brees will be able to visit with him after the game, but they will be in the Superdome in attendance in this game. So everything is setting up to me for the Saints to really take out some frustration on the Chargers and win this game going away. The only thing that is holding me back on this game, and I'm not going to bet on this game. This is not one of my picks, not one of my bets for the week. And the only reason is because the Saints have been so unreliable. And you thought, I mean, week 3 against Kansas City, after starting out 0-2, you think coming home against the Chiefs, a bad team, Saints were, I believe, 9 or 10-point favorites in that game. You think it has to happen then, right? And sure enough, they're up 24-6 towards the end of the third quarter. And then for them to just melt down and lose that game, I don't know what to make of this team. I know I was impressed by what I saw last week against Green Bay. I know Drew Brees says all the right things. We don't know if that's lip service. I'm sure Brees means it all, but he can't speak for all the guys in that locker room. So until I see the Saints, and this is what I said week 3 when they were hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Saints, I believe they were laying 9 in that game. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but coming into that game, I said, well, just can't quite trust the Saints after these first 2 weeks, so I guess I'll hold off, even though I wanted to back the Saints. And then while that game was going on, they're up 24-6, and I'm kicking myself. I'm thinking, the Saints at home, they're going to rout the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you doing not getting on the Saints? And sure enough, as soon as that thought enters my mind, the Saints begin their meltdown and actually lose that game to the Chiefs. So, the way this season is going for the New Orleans Saints, I wouldn't be that surprised to see Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers, who are a good team. I mean, hey, I picked the Chargers to win the AFC West coming into the year when a lot of people had Denver. So I have belief in this Chargers team. They're a good team. Wouldn't be a stunner to see them come in there and beat New Orleans, but gun to my head, if I had to make a bet here, I would take the Saints minus 3.5. All signs seem to point towards the Saints really righting the ship and getting to 1-4 on the season this Sunday.